Hey guys, Malika here, aka Max, or Electric Playground, whichever you prefer. Um, so it's been a bit since I recorded my last vlog. It's mostly because I am doing this on a webcam. It's not really the best quality, and it's just been really hectic lately. I have organized my whole apartment, and I've just kind of been just a little bit lazy lately, to be completely honest. But yeah, so I am back with this week's. And I think I am going to do most embarrassing stories. Most of these stories are not there's embarrassing as in humiliating embarrassing, and then there's embarrassing as in oh, that was just really funny. Well, I'm here to tell you the good embarrassing stories. I have a lot of them, but I'm gonna do my top three and then one honorable mention because I know my best friend Jeff would love it if I did that one. So he always brings it up and just likes to embarrass me over it. But yeah, so my first embarrassing story, most of them are two of them are from when I was in high school, and the last one was a little bit after high school, and it was pretty funny. So anyways, my first one, another one, was when I think it was 14. Yeah, I was 14, and I was in grade 9. And, well, I was in at the cafeteria lineup, and I was still new. I think it was, in the fall time. And, when you're in grade 9, the older kids are so intimidating. Well, they were for me. Not that I was intimidated really easily, because I'm not, but, older kids just really intimidated me in elementary school, so, not elementary school, in high school, until I got to be that age. And anyways, so I had the hugest crush on this grade 12. I'm sure so many other people did and thought he was so cute, but he was either grade 12 or grade 12 plus, doing a lap year or something, and he was so adorable. He was just really, really good looking. And all the, a lot of the older kids, just, all the ones, I knew a couple of them from my elementary school, but, they all sat in the back in the old cafeteria, because my school went under Reynolds, but they all sat in the back at the back table, and it was just this big group of them. So, I had a huge crush on one of them, and I just thought he was just adorable. He was so good looking, and I used to say, yeah, he was the best looking guy in school. So, one day, I was at the cafeteria line, and one of my friends came up, and she's like, oh god, Beep, I won't even say his name because I know if some people watching may remember him. So they're like, oh, he was in the smoker section, and I'm like, and me being me, I was kind of outspoken in high school. I wasn't one of those little timid grade 9s that didn't say anything. People knew me because I was kind of a bitch, and I was kind of just a force to be reckoned with in high school. Just people knew that. And I didn't really think, I didn't look around, and I was just oh, Beep is the hottest fucking guy in school. And, I didn't really think, and I said it loud enough, and I turn around, and yes, you guessed it, he was right there, not right behind me, but he was, a few people behind me, and, I saw him, and he looked, we had, direct eye contact, when, you're in a group, and, you look at somebody, and he's looking, and it's very obvious that you're aware of each other's, and he just looked at me, and he kind of smirked, and, me being me, I was not really, one of those, dramatic, kind of, teenage girls, but, I was a little bit, I had a dramatic flair, teachers would say, so I just, looked around, and, I must have turned pitch red, probably, the pink on my sweater. I remember exactly what I was wearing. And I ran outside, and I didn't go back in the cafeteria until lunch was over. I ran outside to the smoking section, and I just sat there and just, literally just was, died of embarrassment. And I was telling my friends, I can't believe that happened. So, making matters worse, at the end of lunch, I'm okay, whatever, I'll go back in. I waited till everybody was, in the school and stuff, and I was just, there was a lot of people that went to my school, and, but yeah, so I waited, and, I was okay, whatever, I'll just go to the office and get a late slip. So as I'm, going up the stairs, it's like very quiet. You can tell people are already in their class, just like a little bit of stragglers getting their classes. And I was going up the stairs, and I turn around, and he's there. And, like, he looked again. He like looked at me, and I looked at him, and I literally zoomed. Like, I started walking super quick. And, like, every time after I saw him, like, he was friends with people that I knew. Like, I would see him, and I just would like just kind of glance at him. And just like to make matters worse is like he he lived in my neighborhood, or like I think like one of his parents lived in my neighborhood, because his younger brother, who I actually went to elementary school with, he wasn't in my class. He was a year older than me. Like, he was there. I always used to see him. And, like, sometimes when we were walking home, we'd see him walking home and stuff. And, like, he lived literally like, I had to pass his house to get to my place. And it was just, there was a couple times where I would see him, or I would see him around school. Like, we would just, like, glance at. I never, ever said a word to him, though. And, like, to this day, I still haven't said a word to him. But, like, it's just so embarrassing, like, thinking about that. I think, like, you know, everybody has one of those moments. But, yeah, so that was my first most embarrassing moment. Still one of my most embarrassing moments. The second one was, okay, so this is also when I was in grade 9. And I was one of those kids that partied and drank in high school, and, well, in my younger years in high school anyways. And, like, so when I was in grade 9, I was on St. Patrick's Day. I was drinking in the bush with my friends, and I was 14. Yeah, not promoting teen drinking. It's bad. Don't do it unless, you know, your parents are cool with it. That's all I have to say about that. So I was drinking in the bush with my friends, my little degenerate friends, and I like to do hood rat shit with my friends. Yeah, okay, anyways. So we were drinking, and we were going to leave, and, you know, I was really drunk, and I fell. I was linked arms with a friend of mine, and I fell, and I hit my nose, and there was a big scar. I'll try to find a picture and put the picture in there, just so you guys can have a bit, like, just so you guys can see, like, how bad my nose got fucked up. I still have a scar. Anyways, so that's not what I'm talking about, though. I may do another vlog about that one. But yeah, so, like, I ended up, it was, like, starting of March break. So when March break went by, I said to my mom, Dad, like, can I please stay home from school just for a week for it to heal up? Because it did not heal whatsoever. My mom and dad, especially my dad, like, he was so mad at me for that, because, you know, he doesn't drink at all, and he doesn't understand, you know, anything about that kind of stuff. So he's like, no, like, you gotta go to school, like, this is your punishment, you're gonna drink, this is what's gonna happen. So I had to go to school with that. Not that was the most embarrassing part. Like, people were like, oh my god, like, what happened to your face? Like, did you get into a fight? Like, are you okay? Yeah, that wasn't bad enough. Okay, so in grade 9, I went through, I was dating this guy, and then we broke up, and a little bit before the whole ordeal happened, and, so I knew his friends, and they were, like, a year older than me, and so there was this one point when, like, and I did tell him what happened, and I said, you know, if you see me, I'm gonna have a big scar on like, a big gash on my nose, and, so anyways, I was going up the stairs, was, like, with some friends, and one of his friends went to say, like, oh, hi, and then he looked up, and he's like, oh my god, what happened to your nose? And it just, everybody turned and looked at, like, my ex at the time, whoever, like, he kind of, like, looked at me and, like, laughed, like, and it was just so embarrassing, like, I was just, like, and I just kind of, like, looked down, and, like, I was just, like, yeah, like, I fucked my nose up, yeah, and it was just really embarrassing, like, I can remember just, like, I must have turned, like, just pitch red, just being, like, and my friend, who was standing beside me, just, like, was just, like, oh my god, like, you should have seen the look that your ex gave you, and it was just really embarrassing, and, like, actually kind of funny, because the dude who actually said, oh my god, what happened to your nose, we ended up becoming, like, we ended up becoming friends, and, like, I know his brother and stuff like that, like, you know, like, and I've never brought it up to him, like, I've never brought it up that, like, remember when you did that, it was really embarrassing. So that's the second embarrassing story. The third embarrassing story, so I was a really clumsy person, I still am, and, this one time, when I was living in my parents' place, I guess they locked the door and I forgot the key, and because that happened to me a lot. And I was just like, I really needed to get inside. I really had to pee, so I really needed to get inside. Like, I've done this before, nothing bad had ever happened. And so we had, like, the way our house, like, our house was, is, like, there's, like, the main little deck, and then there was, like, a window to get into the house. And I think I was, like, 18 or 17. I think I was 18. And 18 or 19, one of them. And I was going in, so I was going to get into my house, and I was, like, going through the window, and I was opening the window, and, like, I must have been halfway in, and I heard, like, a coughing sound. Like, I kind of assumed it was just, like, my mom or my dad getting home, just, being like, what are you doing? And so I halfway through, and I heard, like, this coughing sound, like, and I'm, like, just ignoring it. I'm like, yeah, I just 1 minute, I'm trying to get in the house, mom, or dad, or whatever. I said mom or dad, and then, so then they're like, excuse me, and it wasn't my parents' voice. And I was like, oh my god. So I, like, fell into the house. I literally fell because the way that I've always thought that I thought there was a chair there for some reason, and there wasn't, and I fell, and I tripped on cords, and it made a huge mess, like, stuff got broken. And I fell into the house, and I was in pain from falling. I probably hurt myself on something, like, some broken glass. And I go in, then I go out, and I run outside, really, I run to the door, unlock it, see who it is. It's a fucking cop. And, like, the one day the cops choose to drive by the house, they see some random person trying to get, probably thinking it's a B&E, I swear. So I'm like, they're like, what are you, I'm like, no, like, I had to explain, I'm like, no, like, I live here, like, the people, like, my parents are gone, I forgot my key. The cop, like, was looking at me like he was laughing because of what had happened. And, it doesn't help that it was a young dude who was, not the worst looking cop. And I face palmed, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, this is so embarrassing. I am so sorry, officer, to have, and then they kind of, like, he was smirking, like, it was just like he was doing this out of his, I'm gonna embarrass this poor girl even more. So he's just like, okay, we'll have a good, and his partner in the car, like, was laughing, like, full on laughing at me, and so then I had to go inside. I went inside, when my parents get home, they're like, what happened? Like, why is it? I'm like, and I had to explain to them the whole story. And my dad just, like, he was just shaking his head at me, like, he's like, there's a spare key in this area, like, there's a spare key here, like, how do you not? And I was just like, so the whole time, the whole story was just like, the whole story could have been, the whole situation, I should say, could have been prevented, so if I had just known that there was an extra key there, or remembered, I should say. And I just, like, I think about that, I'm like, like, I've had many more embarrassing stories, but, like, that probably was, like, those three were the top. And then the honorable mention, I will mention this because, again, like I said, my best friend Jeff always talks about this one whenever we're, like, so, when I was about 18, and I was living at a friend's place at the time, and my best friend lived, like, literally, like, it was like we had to go through this weird, like, up this hill and through a trail to get to like, his place, or, no, yeah, through a trail down the hill. So we were walking back to my place, and like I said, I was really clumsy when I was a teenager. I'm still pretty clumsy, but not as bad as I was. And we were walking, and I don't know how this happened, but I tripped, and I felt like I tripped walking up the hill. I think it was like a pothole, and if you live in my city, you'll understand how easy that is to trip on potholes on our roads, because they're everywhere. So, like, I tripped at this pothole, and I fell, but I fell, like, just in the strangest of ways, and I didn't hurt myself. I didn't get a scrape or anything, but the funniest part was, somebody drove up. I guess they were driving by and they saw it. They drove up and they're like, are you okay? And it was, again, it's a car full of, like, cute guys. And they were like, are you okay? And then, like, my best friend, like, sitting there, you're, like, standing there laughing at me. Don't even try to help me up. Just laughing at me. Like, first I'll laugh and then I'll help you up. Are you okay? But let me laugh for, like, 5 minutes first and combust. And, like, and meanwhile, these guys are like, yo, are you okay? Like, is everything alright? I'm just like, like, yeah, I'm just sitting on the ground. Like, at this point, I kind of learned whenever I fall, just to have a rest on the ground before you, like, get up to humiliate yourself. Like, sorry. And I was just like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, in my head, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, like, drive away before I fall again and embarrass myself, like, go. So I'm like, yeah, thanks, I'm fine, and then, like, they drive away, they're probably like, what a dumb girl, like, is she drunk or something? It wasn't a weekend, so, you know, but yeah, and then my friend helps me up, still laughing, thanks, Jeff, thank you, by the way, and then, you know, he goes and he tells everybody this story, and it's funny, it's all good fun, but, like, oh, it's so embarrassing, like, oh my god. But yeah, I'm like, you know, I've had like other really embarrassing moments, like when I dropped my cell phone in the toilet in high school and I had to like pick it up, and that was embarrassing, and I had to explain to one of my, like, this guy that I was with at the time, like, yeah, I dropped, and he bought me a new phone after that though, which was really nice of him. But like, you know, like stuff like that, like just little embarrassing things, like, you know, falling everywhere in high school. Some of it's on video somewhere on the internet, and the, you know, peaks and corners of YouTube. Clumsy girl hashtag. But yeah, those are my embarrassing moments. If anybody wants to share theirs, feel free to. I promise I will try not to laugh along. And, yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. I will try to have more up soon. And, yeah. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more, check out the description below, and go on my channel and go under the vlog or Max RL playlist, and they'll be here. They'll be there. Wow. So yeah, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world. Bye.